Round 2 of the 2020 NL Moto E World Cup takes place this weekend at the Grand Prix of Andalucía. We're back once again at the Circuito de Jerez, where our season opener took place less than a week ago. Eric Granado was our poleman and the eventual winner, and I'm joined by Matt Dunn to talk through all of the happenings of that first race, which was brilliant actually. We've got to talk about Eric because he's now won the last 3 Moto E races. That we think about the double one he took in Valencia at the back end of last year. I think he was also the poleman for all of those as well.
Yeah, exactly.
However, it has to be said, his form last weekend was so much superior. He just looks, at this point, I know we've only had one race, but he still looks as though he's one step ahead of the rest of the field.
Yeah, that was a type of form which we've not really seen since one of the races that Matteo Ferrari did back in Misano. We've not seen someone manage to break away from the field in as short a lapse as we have in Moto E. It was quite a surprise, really. I mean, me and Neil were bigging it up on commentary. Hey, there's not much chance to get away, but clearly Eric was a cut above the rest, and he cleared away, did exactly what he managed to do in qualifying. He was that step above everybody else, and it showed in the race. Absolutely faultless ride.
Let's get him in now. Eric Granado joins us. Eric, I'm sorry about your head right now. It must be pretty heavy on those shoulders hearing all those compliments, but it was a fantastic performance from you. What have you been up to during winter? What has made you come back into this 2020 season so strong?
Well, I think the work we did on the last race last year was amazing, and I keep it on my mind. And I was trying to don't do any mistake. Last year I did a lot of mistakes during the season. I was fast, but finally arrived to the top. And then after the win in Valencia, I was in a good compromise with the team, with the bike. I had a very good feeling, and yeah, it was a very good one. We lead all the sessions, did the e-pole and the race. As soon as I get the front, I had a very good pace and I could open a gap. I also was surprised to open this gap so fast in the first laps, but then I was just controlling after that and I get the win, so it was very good. But for sure this weekend will be more difficult. You know, the riders know better the track, know better the lines. They watched the race, so they know what I did a little bit. So let's see how it will be.
How does that win compare to your last 2, which of course were like nail-biting finishes versus Bradley Smith, overtakes all over the place, yet this one just far up front? Is it better? Is it more satisfying?
Well, for sure the emotion when you win in the last corner with Bradley Smith is much more amazing. You know, the feeling, you are more exciting when you pass the finish line. But for sure it was a special one for me. I had to be very concentrated and don't do any mistake. You know, in Moto E, if you lose a little bit the line, you lose a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And I was just looking for that, to don't do mistakes. And, you know, it was special for me. Win the first race compared to the last season was very bad, my start of the season. So, yeah, I'm very happy and excited to continue.
Eric, for MotoGP, this is going to be a really unique weekend because they're not used to coming back and racing in the same place twice. But in Moto E, you're very used to that from last year. What kind of things can you use from already having a race at a circuit?
Well, I think now it's different compared to the last season. You know, we had 2 races, but in the same weekend. So just one practices, one e-pole. Now is starting from zero. It's like another weekend. So I think now I need to think that it's another race, another weekend. We need to work again on the setup and during the sessions to have a good feeling on the bike. I think the conditions will be very similar. So this will be at one point good because now we know how the bike works on the hot temperature. But for sure, it's strange. You know, every rider now will be more focused on special areas. So we'll be more close in every category. So it will be amazing. And I hope I can stay on the top again.
What did that win mean back home in Brazil? Obviously, we all know the situation globally with the pandemic, but in Brazil at the moment, in South America, it's been particularly bad over the last month or so. What did that mean sort of for one of their own coming over here and, you know, bringing it home for the first race of the season?
Wow, it was amazing. You know, the people in Brazil get crazy. You know, the national anthem for them is something very special. They love to hear it, and you know, a lot of years since Alex Barros we don't have it. So yeah, it was special, and on this difficult moment, especially in Brazil now, the things are very bad about the pandemic, and yeah, I'm happy to bring some happiness to them, and I hope I can continue this weekend again.
Awesome.
Eric, good luck this weekend, and I'm sure we'll see lots more from you throughout this 2020 season. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You can give your mic to one of our guys over there. Thank you. Matt, you and I are going to continue on
and
have a chat
Good luck,
about our reigning Moto E World Cup winner,
Yeah.
Matteo Ferrari. He finished second, but quite a controlled and measured ride. Do you think that was just because he couldn't bridge that gap? He handled himself wonderfully in the lead of that group, but he just seemed as though he was kind of taking it all in and not trying to make too many mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, he's the king of cool in Moto E, isn't he? Matteo Ferrari, he knew exactly what he needed to do. That was a better start to the season than he would have got last year with that second place spot. I think he did exactly what he needs to do to start that campaign to retake the crown again this year. But this is where now somebody else has got a win already. He needs to take that step up for this race this weekend because, the rounds are counting down from the get-go, aren't they?
Really impressive rides from two of our Moto E rookies as well, Lukas Tulovic and Domi Aegerter. Domi obviously went on to finish on the podium. Lot more to come from Domi, I think, because he didn't quite make that start, did he?
No, he didn't quite make that start, and also he was a little bit distracted, I think, during the E-pole. Of course, he was on his flying lap and already a couple of tenths under the provisional pole position time when Nicola Canepa had that monstrous accident last weekend. So I think Domi, we didn't quite see all we could have from him in E-pole. And then I think absolutely right, he didn't quite get the start he would have wanted. It's one thing. He would have had practice starts on the Moto E bike before, but it's a different ball game together again. To not be having the revs up and everything, and it's just then you crack the throttle open. It's a different thing. But Domi with a whole race of experience under his belt, he knows how to go fast on that bike. We saw that in testing already. I mean, Eric can only make so many improvements when you're already at that absolute limit and that much better than everybody else. The margin for improvement from everybody else is much bigger than his. So I say that with a bit of hope that we're going to have a bit more of a competitive race this coming weekend. Not for this guy, though. I bet he's hoping that it's going to be just him out front again.
He's still stood on the side listening, just in case we drop him in a minute. Let's move on. Quick word on Lukas Tulovic. Made a fantastic start. He got the whole shot and then couldn't quite hold on to that. But again, with another weekend under his belt, do you think that there's still a lot more to come? Like you said, there's a lot of margin for improvement there.
Yeah, I mean, Lukas was the surprise of the E-pole session. I didn't expect him to be that fast. We know that he's got a lot of talent coming from the European Moto2 scene. A lot of people, especially in the German-speaking part of the MotoGP community, really, really rate him as a rider. He didn't get that opportunity, as we mentioned on commentary in previous years in the Moto2 World Championship, to show that potential. But he's found a really good home with that Tech 3 squad in the Moto E bike. And I really think he's going to be up there this weekend as well. There's no substitute for actual racing experience with these bikes. So you're going to learn more about these bikes over that race distance, pushing the limit with other people, than you are over that one just flying lap in E-pole. And we already saw what he's capable of over that one lap. So Lukas Tulovic, keep an eye on him.
There are a few riders I was kind of disappointed with this weekend, potentially expecting a bit more from them. Nicki Tulli, as we know, missed a lot of the season last year through injury. And then also, what happened to Mike Di Meglio?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, I don't know, because it's not as if we can go wander in the paddock and chatting to people this and that because of the protocol and whatnot. But reading the press releases, I mean, it's Sherlock Holmes doesn't have to work out that Nicki Tulli was not feeling comfortable on that bike last weekend, and the same for Mike Di Meglio, but that's what was written. Don't quite know what's going on. Of course, we all know what happened to Nicki Tulli at the end of the last Moto E season. He crashed out of the season in that big pile-up in Misano, broken bones, etc. So, I don't know. You would have thought Nicki Tulli, with that steely Finnish persona, wouldn't be affected by that, but maybe he is. Maybe that's the confidence missing, but absolutely no doubt. Once it clicks again, the other guys up the front have got another problem to deal with.
Thanks so much, Matt.
No problem.
You can join us back here for E-pole on Saturday at 4 o'clock, and then our Moto E race on Sunday will be live from 10 o'clock. But from us now, it's goodbye.